Today, I'm flying around the world in 80 hours, entirely in first class. I'll travel across multiple continents and time zones in 6 of the most luxurious planes. With a sticker price of $40,000, you can expect in-flight showers, luxury bedrooms, in-seat minibars, and Michelin-starred dining. Oh, and you're invited along for the ride. Let's pick up my mammoth journey then, on the ground in Dubai at 7 AM. Well, hello from sunny Dubai. I'm collected from my hotel bright and early by Emirates complimentary chauffeur service for first class. After a short drive across town to Dubai International Airport, I'm dropped off at the first class wing. As a result of this privacy, check-in is efficient and dealt with in a matter of minutes. I'm told I'll be able to enjoy the world's largest first class lounge. Needing no persuasion, let's hotfoot it over there. This lounge takes up an entire floor of the terminal. I think at this point it's past being a lounge, it even has its own duty free. We'll briefly stop by the restaurant, which is a spectacle in itself. I'm led over to my rose-adorned table and served a selection of fresh pastries and most importantly the first of many caffeine hits. I won't eat much of the extensive menu as breakfast is served on board my flight. As for the rest of the lounge, there's more seating than you can ever need. There's a nap room and even a cigar room. Without getting too carried away and before missing my flight, let's head straight over to my gate. But wait, here's the other unique thing, you board directly from the lounge. Admittedly, the shine is taken off this experience somewhat when it's a remote stand, so we'll need to board a bus first, but hey, that's all but a detail. A few minutes of AvGeek heaven later, we're met with our first class aircraft of the day, the Emirates Boeing 777. I'm warmly welcomed on board and shown into the first class cabin. There are just 8 suites here at the front of the plane, and I'm in 1 Alpha today. It may not be the flagship A380, but this is certainly an impressive place to be. After stowing my bag, I'm offered a pre-departure drink. Naturally, I select a glass of Dom Perignon because hey, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Welcome aboard. We're about to show you the safety features of this Emirates flight and we need your full attention.
Thanks to how far out we're parked, the taxi to the runway is short and within no time we're hurtling down the runway into the scorching Dubai morning sunshine. Given the magnitude of our 80-hour round-the-world trip, it's laughable that I start off with the world's shortest first-class flight, equating to 38 minutes. Despite being such a short flight, menus are distributed. Whilst reduced in service, you can still order a proper breakfast. Whilst my meal is prepared, let's take a proper look around my suite. It's, in short, a very private space, made even more so by the electronically operated closing doors. Features include an in-seat minibar which appears at the touch of a button, a Hollywood-style vanity mirror, a writing kit, well because why not, and even electronically operated window shades. It's for sure an impressive place to be. Talking of which, I make it brekkie time. My table is set, meticulously may I add, given how short our flight is. I'll start with the omelette, followed by the fruit, and finally some pastries. By the time I'm finished and enjoying a warm scented towel, it's already time for our final descent into Muscat. Welcome to Muscat, Oman. Unfortunately, on this occasion, we're on the clock, so I won't be exploring Muscat today. Instead, we'll head straight to the Oman Air first class check-in desk. This was quite a rocky start, as for some unknown reason, the check-in agent unknowingly downgraded me to business class. Fortunately, I noticed and was put back into first class with little to no apology given. Looking at the cost of this ticket, that's quite unnerving to say the least.
A few minutes later.
Thankfully, things are set to improve as it's time to head over to the Oman Air First Class Lounge. I'm warmly welcomed into the lounge and shown through the passcode protected entrance. Crikey, what a beautiful space, more akin to a luxury hotel, and what's more, I have it all to myself. I'm promptly presented with a warm towel and a fresh Arabic coffee. Next, I'm invited over to the restaurant for a bite to eat. The leather-bound menu offers extensive options. However, I'd rather save myself for the onboard cuisine, so opt for a cappuccino, and under the persuasion of the most hospitable lounge attendant, I'm encouraged to order the marble cheesecake. Honestly, he twisted my arm. I'm informed I have a spa reservation in 20 minutes, so elect to take a shower beforehand. The bathroom is a stunning place to be, boasting golden marble everywhere you look. Now it's time for my appointment at the Shangri-La Spa, which is inside the lounge. I can choose any 20-minute treatment as part of my ticket. So choose the Oriental Massage. It was phenomenal. I honestly no longer feel like I'm in an airport, I'm so relaxed. However, I must get my Tims back on because we have a flight to catch. After being escorted to my gate, I board last, and as a result, see no other passengers. It's a damn sight better than, say, the US or the UK, where it's a mad rush as to who can get on the fastest. Welcome on board Oman Air's stunning 787 first class cabin, configured in a 1-2-1, with each seat offering an enclosed luxurious space with fully flat bed. Our aircraft has space for 264 passengers, but sitting here in seat 1 Alpha, you'd be hard pressed to see even another first class passenger, of which, well, I'm the only one today. I'm presented with a refreshing glass of champagne. Oman serve a 2004 Charles Heinsick Blanc de Millionnaire, which retails at around $250 a bottle.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Oman Air. Your seatbelt should be fastened whenever the seatbelt sign is illuminated.
With formalities out of the way, it's time for pushback. Unlike Doha or indeed Dubai, Muscat International Airport is quieter, and thankfully today this means a quick getaway. Given the complicated itinerary I have around the world, delays cannot be afforded on this trip. Our flight this afternoon will take us some 3,600 miles, with a duration of around 7 hours over to London. Now we've reached altitude, service kicks into action. I'm served another glass of the delicious Blanc de Millionnaire, whilst my amuse-bouche is served. A delicate dill salmon with sun-dried cream cheese, which is equally as delicious as it looks. Let's take a peek at the menu then. As you'll see later in the video, first class is not all equal in its offering. Well, that's most impressive. Beluga caviar and the fillet of beef naturally jump out at me. As my food is prepared, let's take a proper look around this cabin. Whilst not as garish as its Middle East counterparts, I prefer the styling of this cabin. Neutral, softer tones result in a classy, opulent feel. And hey, you even have your own in-seat minibar, though admittedly it's not electric. I'm led to believe this actually cools your drinks, unlike Emirates. There are extensive seating controls, adjusted by either physical buttons or the touchpad to your left. All in all, an impressive, luxury and sophisticated first-class product. I make it lunchtime. My table is set beautifully and it's more akin to a high-class restaurant than a plane seat. My beluga caviar is presented to me with all the usual suspects, though for once, wholemeal blinis. And the taste, you ask? Magnificent. Next I'm served my main, the grilled fillet of beef served with mashed potatoes and roasted greens. It's frankly divine and cooked to my liking at medium rare. To close, I opt for the chocolate and shortbread cake. Now as a chocoholic, I should have loved this, but I found it dry and lacking in flavour. With lunch out of the way, let's grab my provided PJs and head to the bathroom to change. Strangely, they only have XL, which I know is already going to look rather funny on me. Yup, as predicted, it's about a third too big for me, but hey, at least it's comfy. My attentive FA proactively makes up too alpha for me to use as a bedroom. I mean, given the cabin is empty, I guess it makes sense to spread out a bit. Whilst it looks inviting, I'm disappointed to see no duvet and just a blanket provided. Thankfully there is a light mattress topper, so that's at least something. Let's shut the suite doors and get some rest then. Got a long flight to the USA in the morning and I really need that beauty sleep. I awake not far from London, so a quick change is in order. My NASA hoodie has been hung up in my suite's wardrobe, which is most attentive. A quick change later, my Tim's back on. There's just enough time for a quick Arabic coffee before final approach. Let's get that seatbelt on then as we glide in over the Thames. All in all, Oman Air has been a grand experience, with a few minor shortcomings which could be ironed out pretty easily. The hard product itself is fantastic and the staff on board were a real credit to the airline. Well, it is welcome to London.
The next day.
Well, good morning here from Heathrow. And a welcome back Millie to the channel, who will be joining us on this leg over to Chicago. We'll check in at British Airways first class wing, which as you can see is pretty busy this morning. It's accessible to first class guests and One World Emerald status holders. Let's pass through the dedicated first security, which again is packed. Thankfully where we're going will be just a tad quieter. Welcome ladies and gentlemen to the Concorde Room, BA's flagship offering. We'll start proceedings with a spot of early lunch in the dining room. You certainly won't go hungry here, with, as you'll find out in a minute, a significantly better selection in here than on board. We both opted for the delicious Concorde burger, ideal if you want a bit of comfort food and are not sure if BA is going to significantly feed you in the sky. We're apparently departing A gates. This isn't usually where long haul flights depart. I suspect this means only one thing. Alas, I'm correct, a bus gate. In my opinion, this really devalues the whole experience as a BA first passenger. God forbid there's no dedicated bus for premium passengers. Well, here she is, the Boeing 787-10, which will be taking us all the way across the pond today. And just before we get on board, does your wallet feel like overstuffed luggage? Do your keys sound like a fire alarm? Well, you need today's video sponsor, the Ridge Wallet. Ridge Wallet can expand and hold up to 12 cards, plus have room for cash. There's over 30 colours and styles, including my favourites, Forged Carbon Fibre and Forged Ember. You'll also love the Ridge Key Case, which organises up to 6 keys into a minimalistic, compact silhouette, which, well, yeah, very nice and quiet. With the holiday season almost here, if you're looking for the perfect gift, head over to ridgewallet.com/TrekTrendy and use code TrekTrendy to get 10% off plus free worldwide shipping and returns. Right, let's get out of the rain and into the sanctuary of first class. It's a large aircraft with 4 classes seating 256 passengers. In first, there are just 8 suites in a 1-2-1 formation. I've chosen 1 Echo and 1 Foxtrot today. Let's get settled into our seats. The middle 2 are my pick as a couple, albeit in detriment to no real view out of the window. As I enjoy another glass of LPGS, I'm told a window is free, which I'll of course have to nab to get those takeoff views. This is 1 Bravo. I'd opt for 1 Alpha though if I was travelling solo.
Take care your hand baggage does not block the aisles or exit. It must be put under the seat in front of you.
And we push back from stand. Time to get out of rainy London and on to this next leg of travel. As we rocket down the runway and into the early afternoon drizzle, check out one of BA's Concordes parked at the end of the runway, a fitting nod to the golden age of supersonic travel. Anyway, what's our route today? Well, we'll travel west out over the North Atlantic Ocean, some 4,000 miles, taking roughly 9 hours over to Chicago O'Hare Airport. As we reach altitude, let's get that seatbelt off and take a proper look at the suite we're in today. This is a modified Prime seat introduced in 2015. The Dreamliner seat feels classy. I love the ambient lamp that you get at your seat, which can be adjusted in brightness at the twist of a knob. There's 2 USB charging points and a power outlet hidden away to your left. The in-seat entertainment can be enjoyed on the provided Meridian noise cancelling headphones. Selection is strong, though not up to the market-leading Emirates. Let's head back to the middle suites then and keep Millie company. I hear more food is just around the corner. BA offer a dine-on-demand menu. It's not that extensive when you compare this to the competition, but what's even more frustrating is not enough of the limited selection is loaded, as you'll find out in a second. For canapes, I'm offered a creative selection, with my favourite being the cheese and ham, utterly divine. After a brief interval, my table is set beautifully and I'm offered a selection of fresh bread. To start, I'll go for the roast beef carpaccio with truffle creme fraiche. For BA, I feel this is mighty impressive. Whilst not a caviar option, I guess given the amount still upcoming, it's a nice switch up. Sadly, we're about to have a U-turn. BA now served their take on a roast dinner in the sky. Unfortunately, there was only one available for either Millie or I, so I of course ensured Millie got this. Meanwhile, I'm left with the veggie version, which is frankly disappointing and not acceptable in first class. Thankfully, Millie thoroughly enjoyed the roast, which ultimately is my priority here. To make up for my disappointing main, a cheese board is served, featuring Harrogate Blue, Snowdonia Cheddar and Cheshire Goat's Cheese. It's certainly a hit with me. To close, sadly more disappointment. I select the chocolate mousse, but I'm served the business class offering, presumably due to running out again. Given the abhorrent price point that BA charged for this route, yes, you do read correctly, that's over $13,000. It's just not acceptable. Anyway, on with the show. Let's boot the Tims off, stow them away in my in-seat storage, get my slippers on and head to the washroom. It's a no-frills experience in here, albeit clean thankfully. I simply love the BA Templey London PJs. They're super soft, breathable and among my favourite in the sky. Whilst I've been gone, one of the attentive FAs has made my bed for me. BA provide really decent bedding in first, with a plush mattress topper and duvet. With that, let's grab some shut-eye. All this travel is starting to catch up on me. I awake only a short way off our destination into Illinois, so let's make haste, freshen up, and change back into my NASA hoodie. With my Tims back on, I'll return to my suite and fasten my seatbelt as we descend into Chicago. In all, it's been a mixed bag on this flight, and as you'll see from the other flights in today's video, there are significantly better first class options out there. Our short trip to Chicago must sadly come to an end. Millie will stay on and visit some friends, whilst I'll be continuing on my ambitious trek around the globe. Let's head straight over to the JAL check-in desk. Priced at a mind-numbing $14,000, it's a punchy one, but fret not, I paid significantly less than this, as you can too, of which I'll share in a minute. After check-in, it's time to head over to departures, armed with my freshly minted TSA pre-check, a true godsend in busy US airports.
A few minutes later.
I can see our departure is over at K-Gates, so let's hotfoot it over there. Access is included in the AA flagship lounge, but well, we'll focus on the opulence of JAL's onboard experience today, I think. Here we are then, the stunning Boeing 777, which will be taking us over to Tokyo. Right, it's time to go get on board. Let's get down that jet bridge and see how busy the cabin is. I actually don't know whether I've got the whole cabin to myself or not. Let's see. As I'm led to my suite, it's almost immediately evident I'll be enjoying the first cabin to myself today, which is certainly quite the treat. Well, welcome on board. So let's take a detailed look around the cabin. There are a total of 244 seats on board, with just 8 being first class. Now it's a spectacular suite, converting as you'll see into a 78-inch long flatbed. As with BA, the middle suite's on my pick if you're travelling as a couple, and these even feature buddy dining, which I love. The seats offer phenomenal flexibility with just about every adjustment available. The IFE is controlled via the in-seat handset, which detaches from a cubby to your left. Of course, this can be enjoyed on the provided, rather wonderful Bose noise-cancelling headphones.
シートベルトはしっかりと締めます。
Fasten your seatbelt securely.
For once at O'Hare, it's a relatively short taxi, and within no time at all, we're hurtling down the runway and off into the brisk Illinois afternoon. Our next instalment of luxury will take us some 6,500 miles over to Japan. This is by far the longest flight of the trip at a whopping 14 hours airborne. As we level out at 40,000 feet, let's waste no time at all by checking out the menu. Today there are 2 a la carte menus offered, firstly Japanese, and secondly the Western one. We'll of course be prioritising the Japanese, peppering in some of the Western. You'll see in just a second. As my table is set, we really must wheel out the champagne. Jowl serve a phenomenal prestige cuvee, served in a wine glass, which before you say, is very much an acceptable thing to enjoy such a special drink in. Let's get started on our Berrico ham wrapped orange and creme fraiche Bellini. Now that certainly whets the appetite. I'll freshen up in preparation for, and wait for it, bingo cards ready, caviar. Served with egg yolk mascarpone cream cheese, Yukon potato blinis and salmon tartar sauce. Naturally, I'm in first class induced heaven. For main I opt for what's known as kuzara, consisting of simmered sea bass, dried radish with spicy cod roe, Japanese omelette, bamboo shoots and roasted duck breast with plum. What a wonderful assortment of flavours to get us started, though I do have to keep constantly referring back to the menu to work out what is what. Next up, the soup dish with poached lobster, delicate yet divine. Yes, it keeps on coming, a duo of sashimi and jellied mizuku seaweed with salmon roe. Finally, we reached the last course, named Hanmono. I enjoy steamed rice with bamboo shoots, miso soup and Japanese pickles. To close, I opt to try the Blender's Choice Hibiki. It's not the famed Hibiki 21 served on ANA first class, but it's still punchy. A surprise final course is served. This is a Japanese dessert of morahachi, green plums, which I'll be totally honest has a really odd consistency, although it does taste amazing. This is complemented with shibafune, essentially ginger sugar crackers. Been a while, so it's time to boot off the Tims and get my provided slippers on. I'm presented with some PJs, so we'll head over to the bathroom to change. As you'd imagine on a Japanese airline, the bathroom is immaculate and even comes complete with a Japanese loo. My favourite feature is the retractable changing platform, so your socks don't have to touch the floor whilst changing. Why don't more airlines do this? It's so much better. Appropriately freshened up, let's head back to my suite, or should I say bed. My lovely FA has made up the suite behind me into a comfortable bed, and needing no invitation, let's head down for a few hours kip prior to our arrival in Japan. I awake just a short distance from our descent into Tokyo's Narita Airport. Having passed the international date line, I honestly couldn't tell you which day or time it is. A brief change of clothes later, and I'm back in 1 Alpha, ready for landing. I'm provided with a lovely eye mask to relax on final descent. These are now part of my travel arsenal and make an instantaneous difference to your comfort whilst combating the ever-present jet lag. Well, it is welcome to Japan. Goodness me, what a trip that was. As always, Japan Airlines never disappoints. Now unfortunately at time of filming, Japan was still very much closed and this is just a transit. Thankfully I'm able to use the JAL first class lounge during my stay here. After a swift check-in, I'm provided with a shower booking, something I've been most looking forward to. I'll also get my own Japanese toilet, which, well, what's wand clean? Feeling much better, let's go grab some food in the restaurant. You can order via a QR code and the selection is pretty decent. I'll start with a sushi set, which, as you'd expect in Japan, is incredible. Following on, I go for the chicken and vegetable noodles. These are just what I needed, and coupled with a shower, I'm a new man ready for the next flight. Talking of which, I must find out where I need to head for my pending departure. Finally, I arrive at Gate 71, where a 777 is waiting to whisk me over to Thailand. Now, no first class is available for this hop, so I'm travelling in the best available, business class. I hope you can forgive me here. Funnily enough, this is the same aircraft we've just been on, minus the provision of first class. They do sit some Japan Airlines frequent flyers in these seats, but the service remains business class for this flight. I'm seated further back in 7 Alpha, in what's known as the Apex Suite. It's a solid business class product with all 49 seats featuring direct aisle access.
Please watch this safety video and familiarize yourself with the safety instructions.
It's not long before we push back and taxi over to the runway, taking off into a rainy Japanese evening. Our flight will take us some 3,000 miles over the next 7 hours to Thailand. Now this is a night flight, but that doesn't mean that JAL skimps on food provision. I, however, will be prioritising my sleep this evening. Now to convert my Sky Suite into a fully flat 74-inch bed. Limited bedding is provided and sure feels like a step down from my last few legs. With that, I'll catch you in, well, the evening? Goodness, these time differences are wild. Awake from my slumber and just a short while off our descent into Thailand, let's grab a quick snack off the menu. I just couldn't resist a few scoops of Häagen-Dazs. Simply lovely. Finally, we land into Bangkok's international airport. Arrival procedure is pretty straightforward now, and within 20 minutes or so I'm stamped in and reunited with my bags all the way from Chicago. Now to start my short layover in this wonderful country. I decided to treat myself to the phenomenal Waldorf Astoria. Having slept the last few nights on planes, this is absolute bliss, though short-lived as I'm collected by my Emirates chauffeur to whisk me over to the airport again. With just 8 hours left of our 80 hours around the world, this signifies my last leg, would you believe? Now it's time to go and hit up Emirates. We're going to be taking the A380 now over to Dubai. I really don't know where I am, what time of day it is, etc. Let's head inside and go and get checked in. Check-in is swift, and in no time at all, my bag is checked through to Dubai. We'll hot-foot it over to the priority security lane, as in typical Trek Trendy fashion, we're in a bit of a rush.
A few minutes later.
I love being back in Bangkok airport, the nostalgia here of the many years of passing through this airport, and glad travel is slowly getting back to normal again. Here we are then, E8. And with it, the mammoth whale of the skies. This flight was honestly quite the bargain at $2,200. Crazy when you consider the price BA charge for their first class. Emirates first class, as you know by now, is in a different league. I'm shown through into the first class cabin located on the upper deck of the aircraft. There are a total of 14 suites here, which is among the highest density of first class in the industry, though you wouldn't know it cocooned in your own private suite. After stowing my bag, I'm offered a refreshing glass of Moet. Yes, before you say, it's pronounced with a hard T thanks to its Dutch heritage and founder Claude Moet. Due to my late boarding, it's no time at all before we push back and...
Welcome aboard. We're about to show you the safety features of this A380. There are 6 emergency exits on the upper deck.
A short taxi later and we're hurtling down the runway, bound for the United Arab Emirates. Flight time is 6 hours 10 minutes, which always seems a surprise for me, as for some reason I think it should take longer. As we reach altitude, the top shelf champagne is wheeled out, the delicious 2012 Dom Perignon. I'll enjoy this as we take a look around our suite. As stated, I'm in 2 Alpha today, which is well located centre cabin. It may be a little old now, but the Emirates A380 suite is still a showstopper with ample privacy, further heightened by the iconic electronically operated closing doors. You'll recognise the minibar from the earlier 777 and the stunning vanity mirror, complete with various amenities to attempt to combat jet lag. All in all, it's in my top 3 first class products in the sky. Right, what's on the menu today? Now that's what I call a selection. Compare this to BA. Let's waste no time at all, retract the tray table and get stuck in. My table is promptly set and the caviar is wheeled out with all the trimmings. I think what I like about caviar on board a plane is it's such an event, and it really does make this occasion feel all the more special. Emirates have recently upgraded their caviar and even offer, and I quote, unlimited servings. To be honest, one is enough for me though after all these flights. Next up, the traditional Arabic meze, a firm favourite of mine on a Middle Eastern carrier. I have to be honest though, I still prefer Qatar's offering. It's time to move on to our main, the seared beef tenderloin served with steamed asparagus and potatoes. It's delicious, but as is almost always the case, Emirates seems to cremate their steaks, so don't expect an Air France quality medium rare cut. With lunch out of the way, let's head over to the shower suite. Yes, you hear me correctly. I'm sure many of you know by now Emirates is the sole operator of such a product, the only commercially available shower on board a plane. Let's boot the Tims off, remark those bingo cards yet, hang up the NASA hoodie and take a shower at 40,000 feet. It's honestly such a cool experience, and at this price point on the Bangkok flight, it's more accessible than many perceive. Time to get changed into my PJs then. Much better. After stowing my clothes in the handy in-suite wardrobe, let's settle into bed. People ask me a lot how I deal with jet lag, and the short answer is not well, but it can be reduced in its severity with plenty of naps. And I will be certainly partaking in my own recommendation right now. I wake a bit confused, but thankfully provided with a fresh caffeine hit. A brief change of clothes later, and we're on our final descent into Dubai. Well, there we go then, we've landed, which also completes our 80 hours around the world. Kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. As I collect my bags for the last time on this journey, what did I actually pay for this trip? So I used a combination of cash and air miles, resulting in a total cost of $3,844 plus 213,000 air miles. Of course, I've broken this down in the description below, should you wish to learn more. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you all again next time.